Yes, of course.
So Vitus, tell us about some of the major trends you're seeing in Latin America.
So, hi Jeff. The Latins, okay, I need to restart.
So I just go straight in because I cut the front, cut the back, and it's real tight.
Sorry.
Vitus, tell us about some of the major trends you're seeing in Latin America.
So the last couple of years, we've seen that the 3G data network has really exploded, the traffic has exploded, and the regulators are starting to get a lot of complaints from the users. So particularly in the last year, there's been a lot of changes in the laws, local laws in pretty much all the countries, and the regulators have been forced to issue a lot of fines to the operators for really lack of quality. So that, of course, has meant that the operators have been exposed to the public, have gained some fairly tough reputations. There was a period only a year ago where actually they were prohibited for selling for a couple of months in Brazil. So that of course has driven them to start rethinking their strategies for coverage and for quality and so on. And that's good for InfoVista, not least because of the acquisition we made with Momentum about a year ago, where we are now have worked very hard and have achieved the integration of network performance data integrated into the planning side of the house. So that means in effect that we can shorten the time from a planning cycle, so from when you start detecting an issue till you start looking at how to deal with it, we're going from months to weeks. So in reality, it's about taking coverage, the performance data, and putting into coverage maps, enabling the engineers to look very quickly, identify where there's problem zones and hotspots that needs to be addressed, and actually in that go in and get individual KPIs for individual sectors and cells, and thereby finding out what they can do to redistribute load, improve certain cell characteristics, and so on.
Which KPIs were the regulators most interested in correcting?
So it is, of course, about having the good coverage. So basically, how fast can you get things? So it's the transmission rate, pretty much the download transmission rate, which is usually most interesting for people like you and I. How fast can we get our email? How fast does a page load, and so on? So that is one. But of course, coverage in itself is necessary before we can begin addressing the quality and the performance of that. It has to be coverage. So. Coverage is number one, and then performance of that. Yeah.
And so when someone's looking at InfoVista's dashboard, what kind of information are they looking at that allows them to take that corrective action in weeks versus months?
So in essence, in the planning side, we can actually load traffic data directly from the network. So we have the performance side, which is the core business of InfoVista for many years. We have that in a huge database, aggregated and turned into information. We can directly load that into a specific map from the planning, and thereby literally see in colors that the colors you prefer, red or yellow or whatever, how traffic is and how coverage is at that point. So we actually put performance in as overlay to coverage. Now, using that, you can then, as I said, go into individual cells and look at individual KPIs for a cell or a cluster of cells or a collection of cells. You can look at it day to day, you can look at it over time, you can look at it I think about 25, 50 different KPIs that we have taken the time to define. So these are, again, a trademark of InfoVista. They are what we call composite, put together KPIs. So it's not individual, what we could refer to in mobile as raw data counters, but it's them put together as information that matters to you from a planning point of view. This is what we do, of course, also in performance as such, but that's more from an operational point of view or a business operations point of view. So this is what we've been doing for the last months, making sure that the engineer sees something that is relevant from him from a KPI point of view.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
So sit tight.